Hello fans, I'm Randy Pettitt, host of Rattling the Rollcage. Some call me racing's greatest showman for my colorful outfits and my colorful call of the Madhouse at historic Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. Well, more history was made at the Madhouse on Saturday night, June the 12th, and it happened twice in the Brad's Golf Cars Modified Series at the famed quarter mile, as my friend Tim McGuire would say. You know, the Rocket Tim Brown was the fastest qualifier for what I have down as the 125th time of his career at Bowman Gray, and he padded his victory total to 92, more than anybody else at NASCAR's oldest weekly racing venue. Brown's two starts on Saturday night moved him up to 589 during his long career at the Madhouse, passing legend Ralph Brinkley for 8th place in career modified starts there. By the way, Junior Miller has the most modified starts at Bowman Gray with 747. Speaking of the 6-time Bowman Gray Stadium champion, he gave his blessing for sportsman hot shoe John Holleman IV to use the number 69 when Holloman moved up to modified racing for 3 starts back in late 2019. And the famed number 69 was back in the Carolina Woodfords winner's circle at the Madhouse on Saturday night when John Holleman IV led all the way in the second 25-lap modified race. It was his 6th start in a modified car and his first victory in a main event at the Madhouse. If you recall previously, Holloman had won 17 times in sportsman competition and 4 times after he entered street stock racing at the age of 14. And Holloman was the latest in a trend of Southside boys, if you will, who have been in the spotlight at Bowman Gray Stadium recently. Holloman grew up off of Sprague Street in the south side of Winston-Salem, and he could literally hear the engines of the Madhouse from his front porch. Not that he was on it a lot on Saturday nights. He was there watching his dad and his uncle Steve Holloman race at the Madhouse for many years growing up. Now the same was true for former Thomasville Road resident Jonathan Brown, who got the biggest win of his career, of course, back in the season opening Hayes Jewelers 200. Now, it may have gone unnoticed by some folks on Saturday night, but not me. Jonathan Brown finished 5th and 6th in the 225-lap modified races, and that is exactly the formula for keeping his lead in the Brad's Golf Cars Series standings if Brown truly hopes to capture his first title. Oh, by the way, stay tuned to the end of this video for my exclusive conversation with 2-time modified champion Don Smith as we discuss his nephew Jonathan Brown's big victory in the Hayes Jewelers 200. So make sure you watch it all the way to the end. Well, another Southside man finally broke through after 20 years of trying to win that annual 50-lap street stock race. Congratulations to Billy Gregg, the son of former racer Jimmy Gregg and nephew of Madhouse legend Ricky Gregg. He won the 50-lapper in dominant fashion. Now that makes 2 straight for the 2-time and reigning champion of the Law Offices of John Barrow Series. It was the 18th street stock victory for Billy Gregg, giving him sole possession of 6th place on the division's all-time wins list. And for those of you that know him, Billy Gregg could be found in his old Lexington Road frame shop for many, many years, almost directly behind what used to be the Wilco station on the corner of Sprague Street and Old Lexington Road. And oh yes, more history in the street stock race was made on Saturday night. And you heard it here first on Rattling the Rollcage. A grandson of Madhouse legend Pee Wee Jones made his debut in the 50-lapper. Former driver Brad Smith put the teenage Jones in his own street stock machine. Jones qualified pretty decent, but said, quote, just trying to stay out of the way after the car developed some trouble with the braking system. Stuck on the 19th victory of his Bowman Gray career for more than 2 years, Michael Adams had jokingly threatened to change his car number from 19 to 91 to break up the slump. Of course, Mark Knott probably wouldn't have been too happy about that, but Adams didn't have to resort to such drastic measures when he body slammed, if you will, leader Zach Orr in a late restart, and he won the first of 2 20-lap races in the McDowell Heating & Air Sportsman Series. Adams' 20th sportsman victory ties him with division veterans Aubrey Fischel and Taylor Branch. And the son of 2-time sportsman champion David Adams, Michael needs just 3 more victories to catch his father's record in the division and 4 more to crack into the top 10 on the all-time sportsman winners list. Now, switching gears a little to the four-cylinder cars now, Brandon Brindle proved to have a short memory on Saturday night. He put a rocky finish in that 2021 season opener in the back of his mind, and he prevailed in the first of two 15-lap races for the Q1041 Stadium Stock Division. It was the 16th Bowman Gray victory for Brindle, moving him into a tie for 8th on the all-time Stadium Stock winners list with Wesley Thompson, who has moved on to sportsman competition. And our friend from RCR, Robert Sturmiska, won again in Stadium Stock, notching the second straight victory of his career and his third at the famed quarter mile. By the way, the stats you hear tumbling out of my mouth are not official. Only the main event winners at Bowman Gray have been meticulously kept since 1949. But a shout out to my friend Justin Mincy, who has worked hundreds of hours to pull together information using old souvenir programs and the magic of the internet. Justin and I share notes often to ensure what is being said is as accurate as humanly possible. Now, before I go any further, I want to thank my friend, the Monday Morning Racer, for all of his help launching our channel. To give you an idea of his dedication to racing, Lee Craft drove 14 hours one way to be a part of the NHRA festivities at Epping, New Hampshire this weekend. And now, instead of going to bed early, he's right back there helping me share the news about the Madhouse with all of you fans. Thank you, my friend, for all of your help, and I hope all my fans will check out his channel, the Monday Morning Racer. Now, we had two separate tributes to missing members of our extended Bowman Gray Racing family on Saturday night. And I want to say thank you to you fans for helping us pay our respects to former Stadium Stock driver K.C. Myers and to a man that I simply called Pops for many, many years. Keith Charles Myers, better known to all as KC, was 40 years old when his life was tragically cut short back in November of 2020. I was on the road for many months in 2020, but I just happened to be back in town and had a chance to attend the graveside service for this man, where literally hundreds from the racing community and his motorcycle riding family and his personal family showed up to pay their respects. Casey's wife April could barely walk as she led her husband's number 3 Stadium Stock car being pushed around the track in a dramatic display on Saturday night. April, his wife, and their surviving children, Skylar, Hunter, Halen, and Christopher, were all grateful for your loving show of support for their family and KC. K.C. Myers was a patriotic and proud former Marine who raced with us at both Bowman Gray and a Speedway. And to put it in my own words, he was just a damn good dude and will surely be missed. We also lost Thomas James T.J. Brown in January of 2020 after he lost a valiant fight with a health issue. T.J. was the senior member of our Bowman Gray Stadium track crew for decades. Pops, as we all called him, was the father of track crew leader Jimmy Brown and longtime track crew member Thomas Squeaky Brown, as everybody knows him, and their sister Lillian, who I went to school with, and she has attended Bowman Gray Racing all of her life, just like me. Pops was survived by his wife Lou and his most famous grandson, superfan and part-time crew chief, my buddy Stephen Wayne Lane, known to all simply as Pee-wee. I'm going to miss hearing Pops referee the frequent banter and arguments of the brothers, Jimmy and Squeaky Brown, and I'm going to miss all Pop's great stories about the drivers of yesteryear here at the Madhouse. As I mentioned on the microphone at the track, we paid tribute specifically to those two people on Saturday night, but really they were symbolic of the many dozens of great race fans, sponsors, team members, and former drivers who we lost during the 22 months away from the Madhouse. One of those was my friend Gerald Robertson, and we'll be talking to the Robertson family in a future episode of Rattling the Rollcage. We're certainly going to miss all those members of our extended racing family who can't be with us at the track this year. But we will do what we know they would want us to do. We will go racing without them, but never, ever forget them. Today's edition of Rattling the Rollcage is brought to you by Solid Rock Carriers. I want to say thanks to Kirk Ipock for all he does for our great sport. Our show was filmed on location here in Roxborough, North Carolina by the Monday Morning Racer in our studios at strutmasters.com. Thanks to continuing show sponsors VitaCshot.com, my friend Terry King at Rooster's Country Store on Highway 66 in Kernersville, H&A Directional Boring, and my good friend Gary Causey. And thanks to my clothiers, yep, they're the ones responsible, and by the way, they got normal clothes too, The Runway at Haynes Mall and S&S Menswear at Marketplace Mall, both in my hometown of Winston-Salem. Now it's time for the bonus audio interview with two-time Bowman Gray Stadium Modified champion Don Smith, as he and I briefly discuss his nephew, Jonathan Brown, getting the biggest victory of his career in the Hayes Jewelers 200 recently, and tying his uncle for 29th on the all-time main event winners list at the Madhouse. I hope you enjoy this bonus coverage from Rattling the Rollcage. I'm your host, Randy Pettitt, and may all your days be race days. Now stay tuned for the extra. I'm here with two-time Bowman Gray Stadium champion Don Smith. And Don, some history made at the Hayes Jewelers 200. Your nephew, Jonathan Brown, finally won the big one. And in doing so, that ties him with you with 19 wins on the main event winners list at the Madhouse. So you've had a week or so to think about all that. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm happy for the boy. He's worked hard. He started out with practically nothing, and to do what he's done, I'm real proud of him.
He was another of the local guys like me that grew up within earshot of the place, that could hear the cars every time they cranked up where he lived. And, he has ate and slept and breathed Bowman Gray Stadium racing since he was a little kid. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. He and Bobo both, they've been sort of brought up in it. And I think he's really done a great job. And I'm proud of him. As far as tying me, I hope he goes on and wins a lot more, And I'm really pulling for him to win the championship this year.
Don, he did something on this past Saturday night that may have went unnoticed by a lot of people, but I noticed. He finished. He didn't win the pole. He's never won a pole over there, and I've talked to him about that. He's going to have to correct that. But that aside, he went out there and he kind of got, what he could. He finished sixth and he finished fifth, and that's the stuff championships are made of. Would you agree?
Yeah. You got to. Especially in 25 lappers, if you can finish fifth both races, you're not going to win or lose too many points, It's a double point races where you really you need a top three if you can get it.
He's got a lot of fan support, he is, and I think one of the reasons, would you agree, that he has a lot of fan support is that everybody that knows him knows he has done it the hard way. He started out, like you said, with little or nothing, and has just scrapped and fought and dug and clawed, and finally he's to a point in his career where he's got a legitimate chance to win more races and a championship.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%, and like I say, I'm happy for him. I'm one of the biggest fans, and I'm pulling for him all the way to win the championship this year, and I think he's got a good shot at it if he can get his qualifying down a bit for these 25 lappers.
Well, when you're having to try to out-qualify guys by the name of Tim Brown and Burt Myers, that's pretty hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, they got the qualifying down, and they both got top-notch equipment, and they're both excellent drivers. So but Jonathan is he's a racer. He don't go right or ride. He's not afraid to put it up there and go for it,
Were you there on the night he won the Hayes Jewelers 200? I called out your name and looked for you, but, there's a lot of people there, and I didn't have my glasses on.
Yeah, I was there, but when Jonathan come off the fourth turn, I knew he had it won. I took off out the gate because trying to beat that crowd, because that was one heck of a crowd there, and I didn't want to get caught up in the parking lot and all that traffic. So,
well, I gave you a shout out. I gave you a shout
Yeah.
out, and maybe
Well,
we can get the two of you together here sometime soon to commemorate it.
yeah, I heard a little bit about it when I was going through the parking lot to the car.
So you made a fast escape on the Hayes Dilvers 200 night. Smart man. All right. Well, we're talking with two-time Bowman Gray Stadium champion Don Smith, who won the championship in 1979. I like to pick on him. I think he's the only guy to ever win it without winning a race. He had a ton of top 5 finishes and beat some of the best over there.
Yeah, I won the 91 championship.
91. Thank you, Don. For
between
saving
me and Junior, and I won it, and I finished ninth in the Eastern Seaboard region of the national points. Back when they had, altogether different point system then. But we went to Nashville, to the big banquet and all that.
Well, it's great to speak to you, Don, two-time Bowman Gray Stadium champion, and you and I are going to get together before the year's out, and we'll get you in front of the camera on Rattling the Rollcage.